Welcome to Torchwood Rewind, I guess.
An unprofessional and unofficial.
No, we don't need to do that.
Show.
We didn't do that last
where
Torchwood episode. We don't need to do that. We don't. Yeah. And we'll go back to the revival in the 60s and we'll talk about. We're not going to talk about Torchwood Big Finish because I don't care about it enough.
Some of it's supposed to be really good though.
Well, maybe when we finish the show, we'll have a look at that. We haven't covered any Big Finish stuff yet, which is stupid because the 60th is out, right? And we can get. Yeah. You know, we can look in that.
Which is stupid because we've started like every episode by being like, we'll do this thing, and then we just don't.
We can.
Yeah, we can.
Do you? I mean, I don't think it'll take as long. We'll discuss it. Anyway, Day 1, which confused me.
Yeah.
Because I was like...
Because there's 2 Torchwood episodes called Day 1.
So that is a thing. Okay, I'm not making that up in my brain. I thought as much. Anyway, let's just... Oh, this is Milo. Never mind. That's the Doctor Who cast. Day 1, written by Chris Chibnall this time.
Yep.
And directed again by Brian Kelly. I tried to keep in mind when I was watching this that it was aired back to back. So I was like, that might be quite an important thing in my brain. Because it's almost as if the show goes, look at us being more serious in the first episode, and the second episode goes, and look, sex, that's how serious we're being.
We can be more adult now.
Which, by the way, it's TV sex, which means a bit shit. Not to be like, oh, you're expecting something. But this cuts it on the script. There has like a Green Arrow monologue to this episode where it's like, Torchwood, this is where we are.
Outside the government, beyond the police.
Yeah, and I'm like...
But they also do an actual title intro thing.
Is that in every episode?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it's just how the show goes.
I was like, maybe it's just but oh well, fine. And my next question, before we do jump into this, is because it starts off with
Gwen and Reese.
Bowling.
Yeah.
I haven't been bowling. I want to go bowling.
I know, we should go bowling.
Why haven't we been bowling?
Should we go bowling?
First, it's just a second notice. Why haven't we gone bowling? I'm like, what?
Well, let's go bowling then, dude.
Should we go do a bowl?
We should go to that place that's in town.
I don't want to.
Do you not?
No, I've heard bad.
I haven't.
I've heard bad.
I've heard good.
There's the one in Newcastle that we saw before. That one I feel like is actually more fun.
We could do that.
Because it's not full of...
We could do that next week.
In 2 weeks. Just over 2 weeks.
We could do that in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we can.
Let's go bowling.
Anyway. I'm not going to go through all the cast again because we know our regulars. But Sarah Gregory is Post-Nut Clarity Caris is what I'm calling her. Because of the absolute
Caristy.
Oh, stop it. Because of the absolute state she is in when her dad comes in and is like, you got a hangover, and she's just like, I'm like, whoa, that Post-Nut Clarity hits hard, doesn't it, Caris? You remembered a little too much. Everyone been there. Everyone been there. I don't want it. Do you know what's horrible? Is this episode is like, by the way, a synopsis, Eve Miles' Gwen Cooper is like, hey, Owen, I'll throw you this thing, and then lets out a sex gas.
Yeah.
The sex
possesses
alien.
A girl who has to fuck.
Which, not okay. So they say... in fact, we'll get to it. We'll do it in order.
Surely there's going to be no good way to talk about this episode without sounding absurd.
Because it is.
It's a sex monster.
It's a sex monster.
It's a cum monster is what we're dealing with this week.
Yeah.
Folks.
Some good, like, one-liney joke quips as well.
There is.
We've got to say, it's Came and Went,
Came and Went.
Came and Went is so good. I'm like, oh, that's actually a really good line.
One of my favourite parts about this is how at the beginning of the episode... Reese and Gwen just dine and dash.
Yeah.
And they're allowed to do that because they're outside the government and beyond the police.
It's actually because they want to shag. She's like, early night then. Which, by the way...
Which she says twice to him.
Yeah. I never understood that, For the longest time when someone was like, early night then, I'm like, she's going to bed already. I didn't realise it meant shagging. Like...
I feel like it's because
I don't feel like anyone says that now.
No. I feel like the one I'm really overdone, about... is, when someone's like, oh, well, like, should we get dessert or whatever? Like, that's like a thing in movies.
I was going to say, I don't think anyone says these things in real life. Early night, shut up.
But now then, you fucking...
I like that early night implies you have to go upstairs. You don't. You don't have to go to bed for that.
You can just be wherever.
Yeah.
Yeah?
God, it doesn't matter, actually. I don't know whether... There's some things that I'm like, I can mention this because it's funny and it's probably a little bit relatable, but I'm also like, the whole episode is based around sex. So I'm like, what can I say and what can't I say? What I was going to say is because it's always like early night and they go upstairs and, they fuck. In my brain, I'm like, yeah, but no show is ever like midday sex, right?
Yeah.
Because the thing is, it's really weird to do it and then be like, shit, I've got the rest of the day. What do you do? What do you do
really,
with that time?
Really throws you off your rhythm.
Really, like, in terms of your internal body clock, you're like, am I meant to It was cup of tea and a book time, but no, it's not. Apparently, I've got to go and do a shift.
What is worse? Yeah, is when you have something that you actually have to do later.
See, whilst I do like pushing, I'm like, oh yeah, what a nightmare. It doesn't bother me. I'm just like, yeah, whatever. I'm like, I don't care.
I mean, yeah, right.
Like,
it's better than not doing it. But like,
there are some people I know who don't think that. There's a lot of people who don't think that, but there are some people I know that don't have the prerequisite
of what? Of it being
nighttime? No, of like being completely asexual and being like, I'm just not into it. Which is like that's fine. But I know people who are like, ooh yeah, I enjoy it, but then I just like never want to, and I'm like, well,
yeah,
search within yourself, find out what's going on.
Dig down deep.
Well, I mean, people do go through phases like it, and it's but they're not all possessed by a cum alien.
No, they're not.
Yeah, there's a little bit, the intro is actually like pretty sick.
I like the Torchwood intro.
I don't mean that. I mean like the date night, then the text. It's like Torchwood, and she's like, "Gotta go to work," and then it cuts, and I'm like, "That's actually really cool."
Yeah,
that's such a good intro.
I also like because they're talking about her new job, right?
Yeah.
Like her and Reese,
that she's now special ops,
and then they see like an asteroid or whatever go overhead, and then she's like, "Gotta go to work," and he's just like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, I'd put that together real quick.
I'd be like, huh.
Yeah, right. Like, oh, this is work then.
Like 8 seconds ago, you were like, let's go home and do it. And now you're like, big rock in sky, I have to go to work.
Yeah. Like, come on, man. One of my things with Reese is I'm like, God, I feel for you.
Yeah, because he seems really nice in this one. But like I said last time, I'm like, is this guy going to turn out to be a dickhead?
Some questionable things are going to happen.
See, last time you didn't even say that. You were just like, oh, Reese.
Questionable things are going to happen. But like,
yep,
put it together, mate.
Yeah, then Jack goes to sort of stick up for Gwen when she shows up, and they're like, "You're not Torchwood."
Yeah, by objectifying her.
Well, at first I was, he's like, "Hey, she's not," and I was like, "Oh, this is nice," and then immediately is sleazy, and I'm like, "Never mind."
Wasn't he say something about having like all the right curves or something?
Yes, yeah,
because they call her like little girl, right, or something like that. Like the actual on-site like people.
Oh, yeah, he says, now, first of all, she's no little girl from where I'm standing, all the right curves in all the right places.
There you go.
But she is Torchwood, we both are, and we'd appreciate it if you'd leave us do the real work, shall we? And Gwen, here's the thing, is I feel like Gwen is the kind of, like from the first episode impression that she gets, is the kind of girl to be like, fucking what? What have you just said to me? Ed back. But Gwen does a lot of questionable things in this episode.
Yeah.
One of which I am fine with because it's explained later. The other one I'm not.
We'll get there.
The other one I'm not okay with. And I know you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just like...
See, one of the things...
and I'll get... Yeah,
I said this last time we did Torchwood.
Yes.
Is how, Gwen is the stand-in for Rose, right? Like, essentially. There is, like... Because there is something about Rose when we first meet her, right? Where she's kind of just a mess. In the way that she's a 19-year-old girl who hasn't like figured her life out yet and stuff. And
what's your excuse for being 24?
Well, I'm just me, Anna. But like Gwen is also a bit like that, but in like a more adult way.
Yeah.
So whenever she does something,
she is in.
It feels worse.
She is in the ticked boxes position. Like when you're a kid. I mean, I also thought this like a few years ago, where I was like, okay, got the girlfriend, got the house, got the job.
Yeah.
Complete, 100%.
Yeah, I have it all.
I've platinumed the world. And I feel like that is sort of where Gwen's character is, where she's like, I've got the boyfriend, I've got the living situation all down and good, I've got the job, everything is swimming. But then like, where do you go from there? And here is what you do. You will either explore a new hobby and path for job.
Yeah.
Or you watch as your relationship burns.
And she's gonna do them.
Well, I did both.
Yeah.
I did both, so I'm cool with it. I'm like, you know what? Full changer.
Okay, Gwen Cooper.
New coat of paint. Oh, thank you. That's me.
Right.
Gooper? No.
PC Gooper reporting for duty. I can't believe you've just said that.
Oh, good, when she's in the cell with Karis later on. Defo's the Gooper then, eh? She's a goofy Gooper. Rock. Oh no!
Right. Speaking of Gooper,
let me live this down.
Let's have the conversation. Let's have this is Gwen's fault, right?
Oh, 100%.
But like,
and I know it's coming where she, when she's gonna be like, it's all my fault. I know that moment. There is an it's all my fault moment coming in this episode. I was just waiting on it.
But I'm like, how much of her fault is this?
Shit him.
Like,
This is a thing I can imagine you doing, being like, yeah, throw the thing, and you accidentally like behead a child, and I'm like,
I wouldn't even try and throw something.
you would. I feel like you'd get like, you know, when you throw something overarm, and it comes up to your shoulder, you would get to the shoulder, and then you'd be like, I'm just gonna pass that out to you, and you just like extend your arm, and be like, I'm sorry,
I'm not a thrower or a catcher
or an open bag of sweets.
No. I don't know. Are you speaking about something specifically? Because I feel like you are.
No,
I just asking
in general.
me. Do you know what? Last night I had some scran. They had put the scran in boxes. There was some scran left over. I was trying to move it to the fridge. I was carrying 2 people's worth of food, and it was too heavy for me to pick up with one.
Well,
hand.
we had a moment a few like a week or two ago, right? Or some point last week in the library, where you trying to bobble at me, and it went past me, and I went to get it, and you ran to like beat me to it, and you were pushing against me as if to be like, get out the way, I'm going to get this bobble. I got to the bobble, and I was like, in my head, I'm like, she's trying to push too hard just in case I fall, or like, you know, there's a table there, there's a window, there's a, you know, an entire pillar, like what happens if that, and in my head, I'm like, she's just trying not to like, you know, cause an actual incident. And then I was like, oh yeah, thank you for not actually, you know, whatever. And you were like, I was.
Yeah.
You were like, that was me trying. And the fragility that you come with is insane.
I know.
I've seen leaves in autumn stronger than you.
Yeah.
It's fine though. It's fine about it. You I don't know what it is, but you gotta
I know, gotta work on that.
Get back on that shit.
But yeah, she's antagonized.
Well, Gwen.
Well, not antagonized.
She's not,
but
like,
she's like.
She has this, and I think this episode does it really well, actually. That's right, I'm going to praise some shit.
You're going to compliment it?
Well, and that is that her empathy is, like, palpable. She is the one person of this team who is like, you know, there is still a woman in there.
Yeah.
They're all like, kill her.
Well, the thing is, as well, she does come in with, like, the sort of police background.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I think that these guys have, except for Ianto, who's just there, like, have been doing.
Oh yeah, like they're so shut off from it.
Yeah,
they're
like
desensitized.
Yeah, and she is like, there's a woman there. She's, you know, she needs help, and then she starts looking for real. And I think Jack sees a little doctor in that.
Yeah. Well, I think like there is a moment later.
Yeah.
Where he's like, "Oh, you've earned your place on the team now." Like if you take it that she got sort of like the job in the first place from a whole, you kind of know too much to just be let go, you know, like you've come back once, this whole kind of thing, like there's a space on the team, need it filling, whereas I think this part went, you know, and she prints all of the stuff and she's doing that, like, and then Jack's like, that's brilliant. I think that's the point where he's like, no, you should be here, like you deserve to be here, actually.
No one else is doing this.
Yeah, so...
Yeah. So like back to sort of the beginning bit, there was a point, and I don't know this I'm not going to pull it up, like from far away, where I saw Owen and was like, is that what I look like? Like just a little bit. I was like, but I think like it's an older if you looked at like a younger version of me from like 7-8 years ago, then there is like probably some
a bit of Owen in you,
like with the like a really short haircut sort of thing. Then I was like, oh, because Owen is like a really sort of freckly dude if you get like super up close, but it wasn't, and so because it was far away, I was like, oh, I just didn't like it. But what have I written there? Oh, the shag cloud is free thanks to Gwen. Awesome. And then the shag cloud finds its victim in Karis, who's out. And you know when you see a thing on TV and you know it's like it's kind of accurate and you hate it?
What?
When them girls walk past the bouncer and he's like, very nice.
Yeah.
So when he looks at them, I'm like, nothing makes me just hate someone more than that. Because like, obviously people look at each other. That is a thing, and here is why: because you're a fucking animal. Just when you like, like my ex knew someone that was the kind of person who, if you looked at in the street, they'd be like, "What you looking at?"
Yeah,
like from immediately, even if you were just like a passing glance, if you were just caught in their gaze, like whatever would be, and I'm like, God, those people.
Yeah,
I'm just like, people look at each other down the street. You just see a person, you go like, oh, what's their deal? For like a second, but. This sort of creepy lingering on them and being like, whoa, look at them. I'm like, I understand people do it.
But it's weird.
But I'm just not one for it.
I don't like it when people refer to like usually like attractive women as talent.
Yeah, actually, yeah, no.
Yeah, when they're like,
ew.
oh, like let's say what the talent in here is like, and I'm like, nah, come on, man, don't.
I think
say
the
that.
funniest thing ever was like specifically with the person that I used to be with, because she was bisexual. She would point out more
attractive women.
Like I wasn't really looking at women down the street just ever, and I still don't. Like if I do, you'd probably notice it. It's like quite a rare thing that I'm ever like, oh, that's a pretty person.
Yeah,
but she would always be like, did you see her? And I was like, nah. Like all the time I was like, what? Just cause. And I'm like, yep. Which to be fair, sums me up pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'm just not interested. We've been on nights out where people are like, oh, I think she's, and I'm just like, nope.
Yeah.
Don't care.
Not about
You've
it.
been present for one of those.
Yeah, I have.
I'm just like, leave me alone, please. Because I don't feel like I'm socially awkward, but I do feel like I'm socially inept. I was thinking about this the other day. I was like actually walking up my stairs and I was like, I wouldn't describe myself as like socially awkward. Once I'm in a conversation, I can have a conversation.
Yeah.
But I am so inept as to whether or not you think you are getting on with me. Whether you are in that conversation and thinking like, oh, this is a pretty decent person, I'll have no idea.
I just have social regret.
Yeah, you do.
Crazy social regret.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Yeah.
It's because I'm the one that has to be like, you're fine.
Yeah. What club doesn't have readmission, by the way?
Right? Imagine being like, you go outside and then you go back in, they're like, no.
Do you know how many clubs that I would have had to have left immediately if you are not allowed to leave?
Must be like a down south or like more
or
southern
a 2005 thing.
Maybe.
Because I'm like, unless that club has a smoking area in the back.
Yeah, I mean, saying that, but like we've got clubs now that like use fingerprint scanners to get you in, and which I'm like, I don't want to go there in general, but I definitely wouldn't now. I'd be like,
I don't
no.
want to go there because I never set it up at the time that they told you to come and set it up. So I know that if I ever went there, I'd have to do the whole process, and that's just really embarrassing to me.
I can't go for different reasons.
Oh, why?
I can't. I can cut all that.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah. So that Karis gets fogged in the alley.
Yep.
She gets alley fog.
Looks very pretty though. It's all pink and nice and stuff.
I knew it was going to be pink and purple. I'm like, ooh, romance.
Mm.
You know how I've got a preset on my lights and it's romance, and you click it and it's like a vibrant, like mean purple. I'm like, well, all right.
Well, red's too aggressive, isn't it?
I don't want to talk about this anymore. Anyway, yes, I hit the bouncer, then she goes inside. And do you know what I haven't heard in possibly I've never heard it in real life in general. I just don't think I was old enough to. Like, I didn't turn 18 until 2018. So, and it was like mostly sort of out by then. But the "get your tits out" chant.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god! What like a weirdly British cornerstone of like certain.
Sure.
Get your tits out for the lads. Yeah,
it's not tits out for the boys though.
Because that implies you're an infant. Stop that.
I'm pretty sure it was. Oh god, I want to say it was Jamae, private school girl, and we just started.
Wasn't it? Wasn't it legs out?
Tits out for the boys. Legs tits out for the boys.
Isn't it legs out? I never understood the leg thing.
What, being into legs?
Yeah, I was because walking down the street once with someone, and she was taller than me, and it was summer in shorts, and so it's not difficult to be taller than me, but and some van went past and the was like, legs on you, and I was like, yep, she certainly has appendages. Like,
I mean, I understand the idea that like long legs like are nice or whatever.
No, spindly getaway spider woman. I'm not having it. So she breathes in this fog, right? And she goes in and she grabs this dude.
She's having an insane phone call outside.
About like to her ex.
To her ex, yeah.
Who, by the way, they don't say much about his current predicament. I did not expect the predicament to be quite as insane as it was when she gets to him.
Yeah.
Like later on in the episode, I was like, whoa, he's got a kid, he's got another girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? And he's clearly just cheated on his girlfriend with...
The thing is, right? Though, she says, well, that's the nicer implication, right?
Yeah.
But,
because he's a fair bit older.
Yeah.
I'm going to assume just for reasons that she is 18.
Yeah, well, she's in I was going to say she's in a club, but that doesn't mean anything, does it?
Not in the UK.
No. Yeah.
I fucking wish it did. Oh, I hate that so much. I fucking hate that so much.
What?
Wait your fucking turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate it. Wait your turn, you dumb fuck. Sorry. Yeah. Anyway.
Speaking of dumb fucks.
Okay. She has got this dude.
Yeah, they go into a bathroom.
Yeah. The ladies.
The emptiest club bathroom you've ever seen in your life.
Cleanest too.
Yeah,
it's
right?
really nice. For a club.
I've never once been in a club toilet that is this nice.
I've never once been in a club toilet where the toilet itself doesn't look just like a tin.
In it.
Like I expect it, ting, like a saloon.
I've seen doors ripped off stalls. I've seen blood and shit smeared on walls.
Like, you know, and there's no such thing as a lock. Every lock has been ripped out of the wall.
You got to do the thing where you sit and then put your feet on the door.
All of the paint on the door is chipped and dented. It's full of notes written in pen and phone numbers.
There's one club that we go to. I think you've been there. But the toilet floor, I don't even know how to describe them. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know how you would describe them. But it's like metal. It's not actually metal, but it's like, you know, the sort of like vinyl sheet floor things. And it looks metal. And it's got little like raised indents. Like there'll be like 3 going this way and then 3 going this way. You would know the pattern if I showed it to you, but it's the weirdest thing in the world. It's so clinical.
It's pub toilets, man. Have I talked about the one that's in the pub that we go to all the time? Like the writing on the inside.
I'm sure you've mentioned something about
I think it says, I'll have to double check it. Like next time we go. But I'm pretty sure there is pen on the inside of the door to one of the stalls that just says, we are not going to make it.
Mint.
I'm like, awesome.
It's like, what that one did I send it to you when we were out for your
you
birthday?
did. We went, I don't know if that's when it was. It might have just been. Or was it?
No, it was.
We went
I'd never been there before.
And you just sent me, you were like, I'm going to the toilet. I'm like, cool. See you in a few minutes, I guess. And normally, and I mean this like actually nicely, you know, when you leave to go for a piss, it's like, oh, cool, Tyrese gets a minute's peace. I don't actually think that. Don't worry. It's just for funny reasons. Don't worry about it. That's how I think. And then you leave, and I'm like, all right. And then it's like, Kate, you sent you a reel, or Kate, you sent you a photo, and I'm like, oh, cool. I get memes when you piss. It's cool that when you piss, you go find a meme, send it to Tyrese.
To be fair, I don't find it. I don't like search.
No, I know you. I don't. You know, you're not intending to.
It said slags keep on slagging, by the way.
Oh, is that what? Did you just find it in the picture that you used?
Slags keep on slagging.
Which is, to be fair, good.
While I'm looking for it, I'm like, God, I've sent you so many stupid things.
Oh, my phone is full, and my iPad, both of my like things are just full of memes that I've sent you, or like didn't send you, like the Barbenheimer shirt that I saved. You went to download on a Wednesday, and you weren't coming back until like Monday, and you had no service. I saved that picture on a Thursday. The first thing you did when you got back on Monday was send me the Barbenheimer shirt, and I was just annoyed. I didn't even have time to find it funny because I was like, I was going to send you that. I've had that on my iPad for like the last 5 days. 4 or 5 days, like, how took it from me.
Barbenheimer, man.
Barbenheimer.
Talk about Torchwood.
That's the second time you brought up Barbenheimer.
Because I'm just so excited, man. I'm so excited.
Anyway, she does the cool TV sex. This dude, I feel kind of bad for this dude for many reasons.
Yeah.
One of them, good half a minute.
If that.
Right. I'm like, oh, no, not already. But, it's fine. And also, I know some people are just like this, but dude, stop talking. You don't need to talk about it while she's, like,
when he's like, oh, you're the best, or whatever. Like, and I'm like,
like squeezing out words between kisses. Like, oh, okay, you gotta get those words out. All right, just leave it.
Yeah.
He really was talking to her, and I was like, dude, you're getting it. And whilst I knew it was a shagging alien, I did not know that he was going to regenerate when he came. Yeah. I wasn't expecting him to go.
Came and went, man.
He really did came and went. He really did came and went. Thank you, Captain Jack Harkness, for messing with my grammar now.
The thing is, though, right?
Not as well you said, oh, we'll see how it does.
When did I say that?
We were on about uploading the flapper or something on its own. Yeah, we'll see how it does.
But yeah, right, okay, so like they're back at Torchwood.
Yes.
And
the hub.
And everyone's kind of like, oh no, like what do we do? And then Yanto's like, oh, hey, you know,
he existed.
999 call. Might want to check it out.
999 called it wants its gooper back.
Imagine having it be like, I don't know, the bouncer who has to make that phone call. Because the Yanto's like, oh, that like mysterious circumstance, unusual circumstances.
He was just having a wank watching the telly. Oh shit.
Yeah, which by the way,
well, that was when they were like, how did you know it was a body beforehand? I was like, yeah, how did you? And then it cuts and I was like, oh, yeah, all right.
Yeah, completely first of all, I'm like, what creep will not only like, be sat there wanking, but also will watch a CCTV feed of a woman's toilet, because I assume they're in the women's toilet.
Yes.
But like, first of all, don't put cameras in toilets.
I'm pretty sure I don't know if it was back then, but I'm pretty sure it's illegal now. Like classrooms too, right?
Yeah.
It's like you can't have them in classrooms and toilets or something like that.
Yeah. Because I'm like, first of all, it's weird enough that you just want to watch a women's bathroom on CCTV.
Yeah.
Because presumably he was just watching and then that happened. Like, I doubt he was like, oh, you know. Second
Rewind
of
it
all,
to see if there's anything interesting happened tonight.
right? Second of all, how quick is that gonna kill your boner? Seeing a dude just yeah.
Just into nothing.
Yeah.
There are some people out there that probably wouldn't kill it for them.
That's true.
Like there's a lot. This is like the when I'm watching it and I'm like, because I was watching this in here with that open and I was like, I can't.
Yeah,
I just can't. Because this is the funny thing is, like, as I'm older and dying, is that I'm watching this and I'm like, I would have, if this scene came on when I was a kid, it would have been I've had tea and I've left the plate on my knee because I know that at some point I'm going to need to leave the room because there's going to be an awkward scene on TV.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever strategized like that, but as a kid, I was like, I'm just going to leave it because then when a funky scene comes on that I'm not meant to see, I get to take my plate out and avoid the awkwardness.
To this day, if I am watching something with my mother and a funky scene comes on, I'm like, oh no! Like, still.
What, you like pearl clutching? Like, really? Oh no, you don't.
If I'm sat with my mum and we're watching like a film and there is like something a bit sexy or whatever in it, then I proper will just not say anything and just be like head down. Like, if I'm on my own, it's fine. Or, like, if I'm with someone else, it's fine. But if I'm with my mother, Jesus Christ.
I think it might just be, like, a gender difference thing. I remember getting to a certain age where something like that had happened on, like, TV. And I was, like when I just started, like, watching Entourage, because, like, my dad was like, hey, watch this show. And I was like, okay, cool. I must have been, like, 16, 17 at the time. And, you know, I'd seen things on TV, like, just on my own. But, like, you know, he would have an episode of Entourage and I'd just, like, sit downstairs and watch it. And then you would see, like, a naked girl or whatever.
Yeah.
And my dad, I don't know when he felt comfortable enough to be like, what do you reckon of that? And I would always be like, that's a person. Yes.
If at any point when me and my mum were watching Game of Thrones, she would have turned around and gone, what do you think of that? I would have started crying.
God, I would love to see this happen in person. I want to sit there at your house whilst the scene happens, just so I can just sit and be like,
the first time.
What do we reckon? Because I would absolutely go in and just
do it.
Just like look your mum dead in the eye and be like, what do you reckon, eh? Because I've got nothing to lose in that.
The first time me as an adult slept over at my also adult boyfriend's house, I text my mum the next morning saying I was sorry about 6 times.
For staying over?
Yeah. Because I thought she'd be mad at me. I'm like 20. And I thought she'd be mad at me. So I sent her a bunch of messages.
I think that I genuinely, like, to an extent, think that we've got quite similar parents in that, like, I mean, I don't tell mine anything, but in the sense of, like, you feel bad all the time. I don't know what that says. But hey, they're not getting, 34 episodes into our podcast and then being like, I didn't know you felt that way.
Yeah.
Who cares, right?
Okay. Jesus Christ. This club is the most poorly run club in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Because they also say as well, it's just called Night Spot, by the way.
The
club's just called Night Spot.
That's a horrible name for a club.
If someone was like, do you want to go to Night Spot?
What would you name a club if you had a club?
Katie's Fun Time Palace.
That's what you would call it?
Yeah.
And what crowd would you think you would attract?
Just people who want to have a fun time.
Oh.
Just the fun lovers.
The goopers.
just the goopers and the geezers.
The gooper troopers, that's Torchwood now. Oh, God, no. I hate everything.
Yeah, this club is just called Night Spot, right?
I hate that.
And then...
Oh, yeah, outside the Night Spot?
Yeah, and then they say some stuff about, like, who was she? You see her coming in. And they say that they have hundreds of people come in every weekend. And then
how am I meant to remember everyone?
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, first of all, you should definitely keep track of who is coming into your club.
Yeah, and also you
are a bouncer. It's your job,
and you do get to know regular faces, even in clubs.
Exactly.
I mean, I like because we were at Club Tuesday.
Yeah,
I hated it.
Yeah,
every second of it. Like which is weird because I had a good last year. I was pretty okay with going to clubs.
We went out a lot last year,
right? And maybe it was the drinking of it all. Probably was, to be fair.
Yeah,
but like like I said, I'm pretty sure at one point, I don't know if you remember this, I just came over to you and you were like, are you okay? And I was like, I just can't get excited over Dizzy Rascal's Bonkers for the 80th time. And I know from being there that there are faces that I see there every week. And I don't doubt are there every week that I haven't been and literally go there every week. And I'm like, how are you still excited over these same
I was
going to
say, they play the same songs every time.
Every week.
Every time.
So I was just like, I can't do this anymore.
There's a playlist on Spotify.
Theirs?
It's not officially theirs, but it's like supposed to, it's like their songs. And I'm like, it's the same songs.
Yeah, I hate it.
This episode tonally has this very like somber
trying to be dark,
tone,
right?
Yeah, because
They have bodies. They have like a stash of bodies that they use to fake out deaths, right?
Yeah, and Gwen's like, it's all my fault. You let a sex monster out, and I'm like, I know that it's so funny.
It's not a Slitheen though, so I'm like, if I could let any alien out,
if you could let out any sex,
I'm like,
monster.
dude, no. If I could let out just any alien, and you were like Slitheen, Dalek, you know, I'd be like. The Ood, just the one Ood is not going to do much damage. But second to the Ood is the sex monster.
The thing is, okay, there you go though. You see how they have a stack of bodies just laying
just
about.
Just a stash in it, just there, just the morgue.
Yeah, because Jack says something about like, do this.
Yeah.
Disfigure his face, make it look like a suicide.
Is that what he says?
He says the line like, disfigure his face, yeah. And I'm like, that's horrible.
Sorry, I have a quote from the attack in the bathroom. Do you want to know what the stage direction says on the script for that?
Go on then.
He orgasms and explodes in a cloud of golden energy which flows into Karis, leaving her very satisfied. The young man is a pile of dust on the floor.
Girl power.
Gaslight gatekeep girl boss, bestie.
I personally love this journey for her. She's so real for that.
Yeah.
But like, in the grand
she really
scheme
stuck
of
it to the man who stuck it to her.
Right?
It's just a dumb episode, I guess, but it's fun. It's fun. After you know, they do disfigure him, that's when Gwen has the whole like, you know that like he has a family and stuff too.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and because that's when they do the you know, you keep saying you and you're not saying we. You are part of this now, Gwen. You have to be okay with it. Which I guess she just is after a point. She just sort of has to you know, grit and bear it sort of thing and go through it. Which is it's, you know, it's not ideal, but this is also her it's all my fault moment too when they're looking at the CCTV.
Yeah.
But do you think you're like, yeah, it's her fault? She I mean, there's like objectively, yeah.
Yeah, I mean like she did it, so it is her fault, but at the same time, like I don't really think that you can blame all of this on her.
Yeah.
Especially when it's like this is like the first day of your new job that there is no like rule book for.
When they end up going back to the hub.
Yeah.
And God, whenever I say the hub, it just makes me think Pornhub. I'm so sorry. Especially in the sex episode. Because I see it referred to on Twitter as the hub, and I'm like, I hate that, actually. I hate that. In my head, I'm like, this is the bunker. But when Gwen's like, you know, how do you all relax? What do you all do? And Owen's just like, I torture people in happy relationships. There was a little bit of me that was like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But then like I was telling you earlier, sometimes Owen does a thing where I'm like, all right, Owen. And so then sometimes I'm like, all right, Owen.
Yeah.
There's no in between.
Yeah. Well, he has another one of those like later, right? When they're saying, where they're talking about what they would do.
And he's like, I'd fuck you.
Yeah.
Like straight up, he's like, I'd fuck you.
And then straight away, he's like, what, can I have a joke? Like, as like he's
and they're like, no.
Right?
About killing her?
Yeah. Because that's the thing. They talk about Karis like she's a murderer a lot. And like, she's
just a nympho.
She's like a host for the alien, right? Because
I think that the whole thing is like, you know, sex addiction and sex, because they have a bit later on where they do the, you know, the trip angle, the camera strapped to the body looking face up when they're all dazed and you have to track their heads. They do a little bit of that later on, and it's basically a big thing of going, look, see, sex is everywhere.
Yeah. Apparently that's Russell T Davies' favourite part of this episode.
It's a good sequence, I will say. It's a great sequence. But this episode also does the, you know, the whole thing of like, everything is about sex except sex, which is about power. I feel like this episode does that quite a lot too.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, look, sex is everywhere. But then when it's actually happening, she's literally just like, I'm here to feed, actually.
Yeah.
Postman. It's insane to me that the postman gets saved, but her ex doesn't. Which, to be fair, they'd pay her ex to be a dickhead to, like, you know, be like, yeah, get him.
After a while as well, she just mass murders.
She just you know,
She just goes.
she goes in a whole phase.
But like, that's the thing.
Which, you know what? Power to you, girl.
Yeah. You know?
It's just as girlies here, don't worry. Gwen, when she's in the cell interrogating her, it's just as girly.
Very
now.
girly pop of her.
You tell
know?
me, yeah.
But like, that's the thing. Like, how much can she be held responsible for these murders is, I think, the question.
Well, that's Gwen's stance, isn't it? It's like, you know, there is a person in there and she says to her, like, I am losing. Ah.
Yeah. Because Gwen goes down when they like have her in the cell. She's like, you know, caught up or whatever. And Gwen's like, you can forget about enslaving us.
Yeah, because her whole thing is like, you are going to get us. And the alien's like, what? No. Which is insane that the alien shows up and it's like, I'm not trying to enslave you, I'm just here to shag.
Yeah.
See a shag about, and that's it.
Yeah. Because this is the scene, right? This is
Yes, so
the capital T, capital S of the scene.
So they go to the holding cell, and Gwen is there.
Yep. Because before she gets there as well, Karis is just getting thrown around.
Yeah.
Like she gets thrown into the air by something, and I'm like, what?
So this is the part where I'm like, okay, the people working on this episode might just wanted to see two pretty ladies do a kiss on the lips.
Yep.
And be able to go, that was a bad take. Do it again. Like, you know.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But there is a bit where Gwen kisses back.
Kisses back, yeah.
And they do talk like, it's a pheromonal thing where it makes you, like, like, so long as, you know, at the beginning, it gets like a wider sort of radius to it, where at the beginning it's like, oh, if she approaches you, yeah. But now it's like, if you are in her vicinity, you'll get all horned up.
Yeah.
And you'll need
to do it.
You got to go for it.
Well, she even like rips Gwen's shirt off and
then Gwen like backs off, and then Gwen's like, let's have you then. Like proper goes in for it. And I was like, hang on, you've got a boyfriend at home.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you are affected by the alien, I suppose
you might be entitled to financial compensation. Yeah, Owen, watching this, just says, oi, you lot, treat. And then they all just come over and start
I know that's a horrible thing to say. His delivery that, oi, you lot, treat. The way he points at his screen from the back is so funny. I'm like, oh, Owen, dude. Sometimes I relate to Owen the most, and I'm like, what does that say about me?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, there's a lot of the sleazy things that I'm like, oh, thank God, like, luckily I don't do those things. There is a version of me that would have. I had a pretty drastic friendship group change in school where there was a very split path on the person I could have been and the person I am now. And the other person would have been
Owen.
Would have been like the sleazy side of Owen. But instead I just became the weird side of Owen. Have you had a sexual awakening at work lately? Oh, God.
So then Gwen gets rejected.
Because it has to be a man, apparently.
Yeah. Is that just because she's straight, do you think?
I don't know, because I'm also like, if it runs on, because they say that it runs on orgasms. Welcome to my train, it runs on orgasms.
Yeah, presumably anything that would get you going would do.
Well, I was like, can't you just wank this out, hun? Can't you just give her the old flap slap and get away, you know? Like, is that not...
Just go upstairs for a bit and...
Yeah?
Just chill out.
No, doesn't matter.
Think of...
You know, blah, blah, gone.
Yeah, right? Well, it would just want more. Surely, it would just want to keep going.
Well, that's where Gooper comes in, right?
That's where Gooper comes
God,
in.
no, not the name Gooper as well. Oh,
Gets rejected by an alien.
I genuinely,
wounded.
like, the logic of, like, because Gwen says, and she says it very nicely and scientifically, like, oh, you run on orgasmic power, basically.
Yeah.
She's not like, whoa, come, like, because that's just not how the episode is. It treats it like
you won't come, I've got your cum, and just, you know.
You won't come. Do you know the meme template? It's like, you have, I, like, you know, the bargaining dude.
Offer.
Yeah, the trade offer. It's like, you have need for. But Gwen's like, hey, you run off orgasms, cool.
Yeah.
Nice steam engine hunt. And at that point, and then later on they talk about it as well, and I'm like, okay, they say that she runs on the gasm. You okay?
Yeah.
But I'm like,
the gasm.
Sorry. But I'm like, come on, can you not just, you know, this could be the biggest solo mission of your life, sweetheart. Come on. Sorry. There's no way for me to treat this episode seriously.
Get her to an Ann Summers now.
God, all she needs is a seat and an electric toothbrush, and she is set.
Right. Put her in the shower.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Or I'll be... Sorry. Anyway.
The brand deal they could have got in this year.
Jesus
If this
Christ.
episode came out now.
Anyway, there's no way I'm treating this seriously, so take everything I say
Silly
stupidly,
sex
please.
alien. Tell you what I do like. How we just get to revisit the scene from Boomtown that we both liked, where everyone was just hanging out when all the Torchwood team are just eating Chinese.
Oh, yeah.
And Gwen says, "What are we doing eating Chinese while a girl fights for her life?"
And Jack is like, "I'm actually doing 8 things right now in the cell.
But I'm
so
like,
head back."
That's another cool thing. I like that whole scene.
Yeah, I do, where Jack's like, "We're doing literally all we can right now."
Yeah.
You asked us what we do in our downtime. This is it.
Even before that, when like they're just chilling, just talking about like silly alien things, just like work. And then as soon as Jack leaves, they're like, "So what do you know about him?"
And Owen's like, "He's gay. That's all we know. All we know is old and gay."
Yeah. And they're like, "Gay?"
Yeah. Well, Tosh. Is it Tosh? It is, isn't it? Who she's like? Yeah. Well, Ianto thinks that he's gay, and I don't.
Yeah. Well, because she's like,
not Ianto. Sorry, Owen thinks
he'd
gay.
Shag anyone gorgeous enough. I believe is what Tosh says.
Because Owen's like, I think he is. Tosh is like, I don't think he is. And Ianto's just like, I don't give a toss.
Yeah.
I just don't care.
Okay.
I'm like, all right, yeah. Because Ianto hasn't really been in the show much.
No.
Still, like even in this episode, he's just a very backseat dude. I don't know if he stays that way or like comes more into it.
He will do more stuff later. But
cool. Because I do like him. I'm just like, he's not really done much yet. But I just love he was like, I don't give a shit, man.
Yeah.
And then they're trying to figure, I guess they're all trying to figure Jack out. Which is, I mean, I can see it, I can see them being like, who the hell is this guy?
Well, he's like mysterious as hell, right?
Yeah, he's secret-y. Which is, it's good though. It's good for him.
I think that he's secret-y in a way very different to the Doctor, where the Doctor kind of just is like naturally mysterious, whereas I feel like Jack is like trying to be a little bit.
He's getting like the Batman kick out of it, right?
Yeah, right.
The turnaround and he's gone.
Like he's
like around the corner going like,
he absolutely could tell them the truth, but he's like, no, I'm just not going to.
Well, the Doctor tells you the truth, and you're like, oh, the Doctor's got like this long history, and he's, in a lot of ways, he's a war criminal, and he's done a lot of horrible things. Jack's like, yeah, I'm old, invincible, I shag about.
Yeah.
There's no risk.
I like to fuck and I like to die.
There's no risk about knowing I want to fuck and I want to die in any order. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Whatever way around, it truly does not matter.
But like, there's no real risk in being like, hi, I'm Captain Jack Harkness. So dating profile for him.
Yeah.
Then we also sort of skipped past the Weevil. Did like a little jump scare at one point, and I'm like, what are you doing? Back off, Weevil. I don't need that.
Yeah. Well, at one point as well, because like after this, Jack's like, what the fuck? We're doing these things, and these things. Like, everything's fine, Gwen. Don't worry about it. And then Gwen takes it upon herself to go and like have, I guess, the human approach to it, right? Like this like sort of look into all of these things. And I think it's really funny how for like the rest of the episode, she's like, no, you can't have this. No, you can't have this. And then prints off her personal emails. Like what?
Just because I think it's after before the Chinese scene. That I just wanna look into, which is the Owen and Gwen little spat they have.
Yeah, when
he's like, way to go, newbie. That's what I call methodical investigation. I can't wait to see you take down her particulars. And she like holds up against the wall, and there is a bit of a delivery from Jack where he just like pops out of nowhere and goes, strictly speaking, throttling the staff is my job. Yeah, and I'm like, what? You know what that? Like, I know that, but it's the way that he appears in between both their heads, like the gap between chins and necks. He just appears there, and he says that, and I'm like, all right, young.
There's a lot of eye contact in this scene as well.
Yeah, and then that's sort of where they eat Chinese. But like that little, because Owen is like, no, she's a murderer, and you were the one that wanted her caught. So how come now you're cool with it? But I think obviously she has seen the sort of split personality sort of thing going on.
Where Karis, the girl, is different from the sex alien.
Yeah. God, I wish it had a name. I just wish
monster.
No.
Because Karis escapes.
Yeah, Karis escapes.
Does she trick Owen, or is he just like, I'm gonna...
I think it's the field thing, because he says like the wider it goes, like that's when you get, if you are even near her, you will begin to get horny at this point.
Yeah.
And so I think he went down, and they're like, oh God, Owen. Yeah. Immediately they're all like, yeah, anyone who's in... What I'll find where it is actually. Tosh says, you should take a look at this. The normal chemical composition of the air in that cell. This is the normal chemical composition of the air in that cell, and these are the readings from the last hour. The alien's secreting an ultra-powerful blend of airborne pheromones, sex pheromones, 1,000 times more potent than anything we'd normally experience. Do people have sex pheromones in real life? It's weird to
Like-
it's weird to be like, I'm giving off an air of like, I guess, I'm serving cunt. But, like, there is I guess there's a vibe, a mood, I suppose.
I suppose there is, but I feel like it's not a case of you give them off. I feel like it's a thing that's created when you
Two people.
when you start
a chemistry sort of thing going on.
Yeah,
Because I feel like people often like to separate themselves from like actually being an animal, and there are some things that happen that just happen.
Yeah.
And everything is a mess.
Yeah. But I'm like, I feel like you probably, if you are like doing it, you probably are producing sex pheromones.
I think that's, I mean, they just sort of, I'm going to be past, I just can't be asked talking about it.
Yeah.
Just in general, getting into sexy things, I just can't be asked.
There you go.
Yeah, so Jack says she's a walking aphrodisiac. And then Gwen is like, I did wonder why I like snogged her.
Yeah, and they're both
Don't
like,
try and par that off on her.
And they both go, we know.
Yeah.
Like we saw.
But yeah, and then they're like, oh, we can't let any man near her. And then they were like, oh shit, Owen. So because he was just around and tried to do a test, he just got, bricked up going there. And that's it.
Yeah, fully naked and handcuffed when they find him.
Yeah. Also, are you all right now, or are you still feeling a bit of cock? Excellent line, Gooper.
Superb.
We love it. Is it Gooper?
Gooper.
It's going to have to stick for like 4 seasons in
I
Journey's
don't want
End.
it to.
And do you know what's weird?
What?
Of all the things for Karis to grab, she's like, hand.
Yeah. Well, she grabs like the weird battle stick first.
Yeah, there's a piece of TARDIS in this room.
Is there?
Yeah.
Oh.
I could. It's like the control thing that looks like a tennis ball with pencils sticking out of it.
Yeah.
That's just in this room.
Oh.
But it's in the current TARDIS too. And I'm like, why is that there? Just
There
a
you
prop,
go.
I guess, that they've just taken and putting it on set. But I'm just like, that doesn't make sense to me because I know that thing.
I know where that's from.
Yeah.
That's from the TARDIS.
Because I think that the Owen stuff, I think Owen is the heaviest handed character so far. Where you just like, I mean, that one scene in the pub, you instantly get this dude in the first episode. And he's no less. The thing is, he's one of those people that I'm like, you're a dickhead in a way that if someone corrects you, you probably try and be better. There's a bit of Daniel Sloss's book, Everyone You Hate Is Going to Die. Recommend it, it's very good. Yeah, it's there. Yeah, there's a bit in that book where it's about like, how it is a dude's sort of responsibility to like check on their guy friends, not in a mental health way, but also in a mental health way, but in like making sure that their actions are not shitty. Yeah. Because, there are a lot of people out there who are like, well, I'm not a shitty man, and so it doesn't happen. It's like, not true. Most men, shitty.
Yeah. At least a little bit.
Yeah, right? And there are things that, like, I'm sure even I will still have an ideology that someone is going to come to me in a bit and be like, hey, no, actually. And I'm going to be like, oh, yeah, fair enough. Because that happens quite a lot. And that's the process of living. But he is sort of one of those cases where I'm like, Owen needs a guy friend to keep him in check. Yeah. Because it's
Jack and Yanto, not those guy friends.
Well, because there are some people who are like, see a dude being problematic and are like, I'm not going to be your friend anymore. And I'm like, that's cool, but it's not helping. Yeah. You haven't told them a thing.
Just has one less person who would call them out.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I fucking hate it.
So, the hand.
The hand. This is where we get like the sort of, like a little bit of exposition on the hand, because Gwen's like, you really prioritized the hand, and he's like, yes, I did.
Yeah. Well, when Karis picks it up, he says that's worthless to anyone but me.
Dude, she's not going to put it down now.
Yeah, exactly. You just told her that this is a valuable thing.
You were like, hey, that is the one insurance that only works on me. And she was like, fucking jackpot. Yeah. Nailed it.
You get a bit of the Doctor's theme when she smashes it as
yes,
well.
You do a little Doomsday.
Yeah.
I wrote hand job, lol. And then Doomsday. Also the hand's twitching, and that's disgusting. It's nasty. Can't she wank it out? That's about when I come to that when they were on about the pheromones thing.
Why she's taking the hand.
Oh no!
I said that because I knew it would be disgusting.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Also, Gwen says the sentence "knobbing fellas to death," and I think that's great. Because unless she is not the one doing the knobbing.
No, she's not.
She's getting knobbed.
Yeah.
Oh no! I just did that thing you love when I say a thing and immediately hate
it. Yeah. She's doing.
Yeah, then that's after she says this is where you get the shot of or the sequence, I guess, that RTD loves, the going around and sex is everywhere. There's Ann Summers shops and underwear ads and all this
she's
stuff.
all the sexy things, because all the couples on the street.
You see a shampoo advert and it's like for hair, but all they're showing is collarbones and like almost tit, and I'm like okay, cool.
As much that you can get away with that's like quote sexy without breaking any like, you know,
I think
rules.
Well, I mean, obviously we've been watching Community, and Britta has that whole thing, doesn't she, where she's like, she just hates the fact that sex sells. Or there's someone it might not be Britta, but there was someone that was like, I hate the fact that sex sells. Or someone season 6, and so far it is worse than season 4. I don't give a shit.
I quite like season 6.
Oh, I'm just not enjoying it.
I like Frankie. Yeah, the woman who joins them.
Oh, I don't. I think she's stupid and horrible. I don't actually think she's stupid and horrible. What I think about her is that she literally sat down and she went, I've got no quirks. And I was like, cool, you just tell me that you're going to be boring. And then so far she has been boring.
I like her.
She has done one thing that to me was like, oh, that gives you a bit of depth. And that was when she was like, I email my sister.
Mint.
And she's like, yeah, it's my dead sister. So, it makes me feel, like she is still with us.
I like her.
All right.
Yeah, sorry.
Is there something about her that you really, something traumatizing that you really relate to about her?
No, I just like her.
All right. Something.
I just fancy her a bit.
Oh, and so it comes out.
Yeah, sorry.
But like the teacher in the first few seasons that Jeff Winger's with, and she's like a little controlling and a little feisty, and I'm like, yeah, actually.
Yeah.
Could you give me instructions?
We're both super well put together.
Me and you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Rat Jam.
What? You're like, I'm the scat man.
Rat Jam.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And then
Owen's so excited to be like, Rat Jam.
Well, Owen knows what's about to happen to this rat because he's done it before.
Yeah.
He's killed a rat, and he knows it's going to be rat jam, and then he takes him through it. So this is the second rat he has turned into jam.
Yeah.
No, okay, it's at least the second rat.
Yeah.
It could be more rats.
Well,
that he has turned into jam.
presumably it's more than one, right? Because he's like, this is the brain, this is the lungs, you know?
And that's the
Rat
rat.
Jam. There you go as well. That's like some more blood, and I mean, I know it's like a fake rat.
Yeah.
And it's all kind of rat jam, but
yeah, because that's when Owen says the thing about saying that you would fuck Gwen. Because
doesn't he say it again later when they catch her and they say something and he's like, oh, however long till rat jam.
Yeah, he does. He says rat jam in the room.
Yeah,
like in front of her.
Really proud of that one.
Yeah, well, because she works at Sperm Bank, right?
Yeah, because her crazy alien plan is Grand Theft Sperm Bank.
Fuck off. I hate you. Such a little shrug and smile. Ah, God. I think sometimes you forget you're not all the way on camera. Not right now because you're just like fidgeting with your feet, but also like you do a face thing and I'm like,
yeah, I do.
No one can see that.
I do sometimes. No one can see that either.
Well, one day we'll one day. Well, we don't know. Who cares? Yeah, but she works at Sperm Bank, so that's her grand plan. Is she kills her ex.
Yeah, so let's talk about that.
Yeah, Eddie and Karis.
She goes to his house.
Yeah. Eddie, by the way, is played by Alex Perry. Eddie Gwynn. But
yeah, she goes to his house where he has a crib. So
yeah, and that's the first thing I was like, oh, you've got a baby.
Yeah, he's either got a child or is soon to have a child.
And is super nonchalant about it. He's just like leaning back and chilling. Yeah.
And then like she says that he was her first, but she didn't tell him that because she was embarrassed or whatever.
Yeah.
And then she's like, did you ever love me? And he's like, no. And then she fucks him to death.
Well, there's like a time thing, right? Where I'm like, if she is 18, then 1, you. And 2, I'm like, how long has this been going on? Like her and Eddie?
I mean, the way that it seems to me is that she is a little bit obsessive over someone.
Oh, yeah, that she like is a little bit attached, more so than he is.
Yeah.
I think everyone goes through that thing a little bit early on when they first, start kissing people on the lips, where they're like, it means a thing.
Yeah,
and then
no,
like,
it doesn't.
And then like, you get old and you're like, oh,
yeah,
people just kiss strangers because.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything.
Because you think it'll fill the empty void and it won't. Nothing will.
Do you know what will? Doing a big listen to all of the episodes of the show.
Gooper.
That'll fill the void.
You just promotion. But yeah, Eddie's questionable just in general, which is why I'm cool. I'm fine with you dying. Also, I don't care about you. You've just shown up this once. I'm kind of like, whilst I understand she is more attached than a quote unquote adult would be, just presuming that she is childish in the way that she looks at relationships. Maybe, I don't know. It's weird.
Well, he says as well, he is also the only person to comment on the fact that she looks fucked.
Yeah, she looks. He's like, you look wired. He says, he's like, you look wired, you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the idea that she is sort of, young in terms of, figuring out how relationships work and intimacy and all this stuff. I'm also like, Eddie, you're a dickhead because you sort of know that she's going to be like this.
Mm.
Like, and I know that some people are just like that, and some people don't ever stop being clingy, and it is just part of their personality. And I'm like, that's fine too. If that's just who you are,
Yeah.
then that is, and there will be a person that is okay. That is.
I think that everyone
works
should
for.
be allowed to have their first relationship wiped from memory, even if it wasn't a bad one, just because it's like you are young and stupid.
Yeah. What if instead we just go to the pub where she can constantly serve us?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when they run through the clinic, the sperm bank.
Yeah.
When Jack's running around, he looks like a kid with a Poundland gun. It's like, it's up here, it's up by his shoulder, but it's pulled up by his ear. And he's just like, he walks into every room and he has it in one hand, or he has it in two hands like this, and then just keeps doing this. He just keeps doing the pew, 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 cops and robbers in the playground
I don't think that there's any good way to run around with a gun and not look stupid. Like at least a little bit. I think anytime I see people doing that,
I'm like, holster it. I'm like, holster it, yeah. But, you know, while you're, I feel like it down good, it up, but,
well, because like the thing is, if you've come here looking for her, you know that she will be doing murders.
You know the cum monster is nearby.
So like that's the thing. Like you are either gonna find like her mid shag, and you're not gonna shoot her clearly.
Yeah.
Or you're gonna find like piles of dust, which he does.
She, do you know what? She's like, she fucks one dude and he just screams, and then she tries to fuck the next dude, and the next dude's like, yo, I'm gay, stop that.
Yeah, because she's like, I can help, and he's like, I doubt that, love, I'm gay.
And he's probably like,
Yeah, no.
My favourite thing ever, like, in media, is when, like, a straight person hits on, like, a gay person, and the gay person is, like, disgusted. I love seeing that, you know. I know I shouldn't. I know I should be like, they should be more accepting and just be a bit more understanding. But instead I'm like, no, yeah, call them rotten.
Yeah. The thing is as well, I'm
like, us, like, straight people have been doing that to other straight people for years,
so long.
where a girl will like try and get off with a guy, and maybe, you know, he's not good looking or she's not as good looking, and they're like, that's disgusting. And I'm like, you know what? No, get humbled. Like, you need that.
I love trying to flirt with girls because I think it's really funny.
I've seen it, and it's tragic. You know the one that I'm talking about.
Yeah, of course I do.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah. But it's really funny being like, you're really pretty, and then they're like, no, you're really pretty, and then it's like,
that's how most female interactions that I've seen are. It's like, oh my god, you're gorgeous, and then the other one's like, oh my god, you're gorgeous.
They get the gas out of her because Gwen's like, give it to me.
Because Jack apparently gives orgasmic kisses.
Yeah, he kisses her, and he's like, that's just the kiss, right? What do you think would happen?
He's like, you like a slice, imagine the whole cake, sweetheart.
Yeah,
and it's
right?
like, shut up, you.
So they get it out of her truly dumb look and stupid, right? Because my favourite part of Torchwood is that no one has any idea what they're doing and none of their plans should ever work, but somehow they pull through. But my question is, how are you supposed to explain any of this? Because the thing is that, like, we know Torchwood can do the police stuff and they can, like, trick this kind of shit. They can probably call off all of this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But socially, she almost shagged the postman. Who will have to deliver her Amazon Prime the next day.
Yeah.
She left a voicemail for her ex saying that she was going to kill him or that she wanted him dead. And then suddenly...
He's dead. Well, yeah, but Torchwood will just fuck up a body and toss it in the crib.
Yeah, clearly.
That's all that's going to happen.
But I'm like, I don't know how you're going back to your normal life after this, Karis.
There is a line in here that Jack says... It's after, you know, they trap the thing in the beamy uppy.
Yeah.
And it sort of fizzles out or whatever. And Jack goes, you travel halfway across the universe for the greatest sex, you still end up dying alone. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And like a little bit of me is like, you know that bit in I haven't seen Blade, but you know that the famous line of what's the line? Shit. Motherfuckers always be trying to ice skate uphill or something like that. And the thing is, the line comes out of nowhere and it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. It's what happens to a toad when it's struck by lightning.
Yeah.
Blade.
But like this line, I'm like, okay. You end up dying alone.
What I like though is that Karis at one point says that there is nothing like it. So I'm like the orgasmic energy or whatever. What about the rest of the universe? Are they not fucking?
Well, I mean, it's typically just the energy about it, right?
Well, still. Questions.
Right.
So also after this, Gwen and Jack kiss?
Yeah.
Oh, should we say Gwen kisses Jack, I suppose?
This is the most Rose behaviour I've ever seen, right?
So the most Rose Tyler thing to do.
No, like truly is. It truly, like, I was watching it and I was like, the thing is, with Rose and Mickey, you've got like years of history or whatever. You haven't bought a house together. Gwen,
Yeah.
Reese, you got a house. You got jobs. And just when it happened, I was like, no, you just would, like, you. And she kisses him and she like makes sure it's on the mouth. She is like, hey, blah, blah, blah. Like, I didn't like it.
Yeah,
Okay.
and also imagine being Tosh and Owen. Just
Yeah.
like, what the fuck?
Tosh is like, you're me forever.
Imagine if on the way out of work, you go up to your manager and just give him, give him a little kiss on the lips.
I was trying to give him like a really slow, like a.
Horrible, actually.
Imagine me working. That'd be funny too. Yeah, I don't get it. I do not understand it. But yeah, the next thing I want, because there's almost Doctor Who music at the end, it's not quite. The last thing I want from this episode is for Keris to get tested immediately, please. That's a lot of unprotected shagging you were doing.
Yeah.
Make sure you're good. Do the little home blood test. Do the little wee-wees.
Yeah.
I remember when I did one of those last year. I don't know if you remember this. I remember this. And another one of our friends from uni, just because I was doing it, he was like, oh, I will.
I'll do one.
And also he'd been doing it way more than me. And I was just like, it was just I've just gotten out of a long-term relationship. I want to make sure that I'm good to, whatever. Just to make sure that I'm safe so that I know going forward. And we both got the same tests. And so I was like, oh, how did you find, doing the bloods to make sure that you don't have like syphilis or anything, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, I never want to do it again. I almost fainted. And I was just...
I'm like, it's a finger prick.
Do you know who I'm on about?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can imagine it, right?
Yeah.
He was like, I never, ever, ever. He was like, it was horrible. It was, I hated it. And I was like, dude, I couldn't get enough blood out of my thumb. I had to go to my index finger for it.
I had to double dip. My final note on this episode
Yes.
is just that Jack is like, hey, Gwen, like, we need your, like, humanity or whatever. Make sure you don't let this job consume you or whatever.
Mhm.
And he says, eat lasagna, kiss your boyfriend, be normal. And then she does all of those things. Like, she goes home and does all of those things.
Yeah, so she should have a lasagna. Good, go on.
Lasagna.
Gooper. Well, Gooper. Yeah, great. I'm happy for you. I'm glad you had your lasagna. My other, like, last notes for this, or my actual final note, then there's one note about the next time thing, is that they have this, the thing about Gwen not listening to Reese. She's just sort of sat with a wine glass and going through the motions or whatever.
Yeah.
I wrote, how are Gwen? Listen to him. Don't use sex as a patch for your communication issues. And I don't know if that's meant to be a thing that this episode is doing and planting about, but oh my God.
Yeah, because she hits him with the early night again.
Yeah, and I'm like, she wasn't listening, and then she's like upstairs, and I'm like, oh, don't be doing this. Don't be the one who's like, oh, if we keep doing it.
If we just keep shagging everything,
if we just keep doing it, we'll survive. And then the next time trailer was, shit. Gave me absolutely nothing to go off of at all, really. I was like, eh. So I'll find out with the ghost stuff next week, right?
Yeah, the ghost machine.
I rated this a 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
I'm like, solid 3. The stakes were kind of low. There was a few really hokey moments, a few things that I was just like, all right.
I'd give it a 3 because the thing is, I feel like this is slightly above average on account of it being silly.
Yeah, but I think that the thing that makes it silly is it's only silly when you think about it because they play it straight.
Yeah.
And I like it when something does that. There's Bryan Cranston, I think it was on Hot Ones actually, was like, if you are doing a funny thing, you can't treat it like it's funny.
Yeah.
But you've got to like go at it. If people know that your character is laughing, then they have no reason to
like
laugh. Your character's doing it for you. Yeah.
That whole thing.
I need to watch Airplane.
So good.
I haven't seen any of them, but I just want to. It's like
so.
It's one of those where the jokes are delivered just so nonchalantly that I'm like, oh wow. He was he had a mustache, 6 foot. He was 6 foot tall, had a mustache. He's like, that's quite the mustache. I'm like, oh, that's such a good line.
Yeah,
it's very Stephen Wright in the humor, and I love Stephen Wright. He's way ahead of his time. God. Anyways, we'll be back next Saturday for whatever the next episode's called. I can't do the Doctor Who things. I don't know the episode titles.
It's Ghost Machine.
Ghost Machine. Fucking hell. Ghost Machine.
Yeah.
Sick. Yeah, we'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.